Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, that's Dan, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Good morning out there, boys and girls, children of all ages. It's Friday!
It's Friday!
Oh, yeah. We made it, friends. Well done. How you doing in there, Dan?
I'm doing well. It's Friday, so
It's Friday. Oh, yeah. What's the plan for the weekend?
I don't have any plans this weekend.
No? Oh, congratulations. Yeah, congratulations.
Do you have any plans?
I didn't. I might now.
I'm sorry for you.
I know. I appreciate your commiserations. Thoughts and prayers to Rob. Tonight we're both going to the Vaughan Radio beginning of summer drinks, right, Dan? We're both going to the Vaughan Radio drinks, right? No, Dan? You're not going to go, are you?
I don't think so.
So tonight we have our now traditional, I guess, get together with all the Vaughan Radio presenters. I think the only people who aren't going are Julia and Ruby. I think the rest of the people are going. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if looking forward to is the right word, but we'll use that.
You didn't remember it was today, right?
No, I didn't. So I'm looking forward to that. It's just, I've had way too many commitments. I made a promise to myself at the beginning of the year that this was going to be my year of being social again, of putting myself out there, being friendly, and God, I regret it so much. Life is so much better when you don't see people. Anyway, I'm kidding. I'm half kidding. So yeah, tonight I have the Vaughan Radio drinks. On Sunday, I think I have a lunch or something with the ladies' aunt. So I'm going to meet her, Tia. But thankfully, other than that, nothing. I think the plan on Saturday, on Sunday, me compra un sábado sin líos. I hope. Fingers crossed, Dan. Fingers crossed. I've just started playing a new video game, so I want to dedicate some time to that.
Which one?
There you go. I knew you were going to ask. It's Star Wars Fallen Order. Yeah. I love me a good Star Wars game, and this one is certainly a good one. Anyway, let's see who's joining us live in the chat. Sorry, Dan and I getting lost in conversation. Like, it's true, right, Dan? We barely say two words to each other if there's not a microphone in front of us. This is where we do most of our talking.
True?
Yeah. It's because when Dan comes in, usually I have my headphones on and I'm preparing the show and getting on with work. And plus, a little bit of it, Dan, is so we can... Our first real encounter of the day is live, because I think it's probably funnier that way. Anyway, let's see. We've got Vero joining us live in the chat. She says, "Good morning, beautiful bohemians around the universe and beyond. Friday." Oh, we're there, friends. Mr. Cruzando's here. How you doing, Mr. Cruzando? That's been a while since I saw you here last. He says, "Good morning." So does the bridge. Good morning, my beautiful Bonnie Bouncy bohemians. I made it. Mike says, "Good morning, dear warriors." Not bohemians on this show. It's Friday. Ah, yeah. You're a busy guy. I am a busy guy, Bridge. I am a busy guy. I don't want to be a busy guy, but the world is conspiring against me. So this week, I have the Vaughan Radio drinks. Next week, I have a whiskey tasting event with Chris Frank. And then the following week, I have a 4-day music festival. And then I just think I'm going to retire from public life. I'm going to fake my death. Anyway, shall we get into the show today? By the way, those amazing messages. Do you want to be as cool, as sexy, as charming, as handsome, as beautiful, as influential, as impactful, as intellectual as the messages that I just read? Well, it's very simple, guys. Come and join our live audience and I will read your messages too. Twitch.tv twitch.tv/Professional Bohemian. That's Bohemio Profesional, pero en inglés. You can also join me on my Instagram, which is @professional bohemian, or if you're extra specially sexy and cool and charming and beautiful, well, you can always join me on my Patreon where you get all the VODs for the shows. Yesterday's was particularly special, yesterday's lunchtime show. I'm sure you were listening, Dan. I know you weren't here, but you were listening, right?
Yes.
Yeah, of course you were. I don't believe you, and your microphone's off.
I want to see if David do it better than me.
Well, he didn't really participate much. It was just a conversation between me and Juan Solo. Really great. It was one of those interviews that didn't feel like an interview. It just felt like a friendly chat. So I do recommend you watch that one. I will post it later on today. Anyway, let's see what's coming up in the show today. Today we're talking about fashion, Dan. Tú y yo. We're experts on this subject, aren't we?
Yes.
So we ask 100 humans to name an ugly item of clothing. Nombra una prenda de ropa, item of clothing. Prenda de ropa, fea. Name an ugly item of clothing. And today's unpopular opinion is fashion is pointless. La moda no sirve para nada. Woo! My better half says was very pointedly a false on this one, but I think I can convince you all otherwise. Let's see. Anyway, let's get into some news, shall we? I got sent an article from the Guardian. I got it sent to me yesterday evening. I've spent so much time this week arguing in favour of the damn social media ban in the UK, Dan. People just want to argue with me about it. And the Guardian is helping them. And I'm not appreciative of it. 4 in 5 under 16-year-olds in Australia are using social media despite the ban, a study shows. 4 de cada 5 menores de 16 años en Australia usan redes sociales pese a la prohibición, según un estudio. And I know you all have your ideas about this. I know a lot of you think, oh, they're restricting us. You know, go dunk your head in cold water for a second. Look, if this helps only 20% of people, oh my God, brilliant. I would consider that a win. That was the response I gave to this article to the person who sent it. Don't you think, Dan?
But exactly how are they banning them? I mean,
I think I don't know how it's age gated. I don't know, Dan, because I'm an old man and I can, even though I don't, I can use social media. Anyway, let's get into it. Australia's under 16 social media ban appears to be having little immediate impact, with new research showing that 80% of teenagers under 16 were still using social media 3 months after the law came into force. Rephrase that. 20% fewer teenagers are using social media. Congratulations, Australia. Congratulations. Right? It's like 20% is not a negligible number. The study carried out by the University of Newcastle and published in the BMJ found only a minimal drop in daily use and pointed to a weak age verification as a major reason for the reason the ban has been so easy to get around. Many teenagers were still using their own accounts, while others bypassed restrictions with fake profiles or, in smaller number of cases, VPNs. Fake profiles. So they're blaming the weak age verification. Can we be honest a second, Dan? I want to know what these age verification... Is it the same kind of button as Are You a Robot? You know, I mean, what are the... Do they have to take a photo? Is it image based? You remember we did that piece of news of kids drawing beards on themselves to bypass age verification. Is it that? Findings are likely to raise questions for other countries considering similar laws, including the UK, where a ban is planned for 2027. Experts and campaigners quoted in the article argue that bans alone are not enough to protect children online and warn that governments risk giving parents false reassurance unless they pair restrictions with stronger safety measures. Again, 20% of kids have been taken off of social media. Congratulations. Congratulations. You're laughing at me, Dan. Why?
I'm not gonna give a round of applause.
Because it's not more. I mean, I think there needs to be better safety measures. There obviously needs to be better age verification methods. Yeah, and a restriction to being able to open up fake accounts, right? I think we need that. There's I'm sure over time will evolve, and our safety measures will evolve. I mean, here in Europe, it would be easy. We've all got a NIE or a DNI. We have digital identification in Europe. Ooh, don't say digital identification too loudly, because the UK sees it as an infringement on your privacy. But we in Europe, it should be easy, right? You just link it to your social media account, and it knows how old you are. Anyway. Experts and campaigners quoted in the article argue that bans alone are not enough to protect children online, and warn that governments risk giving parents false reassurance unless they pair restrictions with stronger safety measures. While some believe it is too early to declare the policy a failure, the study suggests that stopping younger children from starting social media may be more realistic than trying to remove platforms from the daily lives of teenagers who are already deeply engaged with them. And also, I see this very much like smoking, Dan. Like, when they first banned smoking, everyone continued smoking, didn't they? When they banned it in restaurants, everyone continued smoking, and then generationally, over the years, fewer and fewer smokers, which leads you here to be here, Dan, that neither drinks nor smokes and will live forever. Right? That's the idea. But yeah, generationally, the impact will be felt. I believe stay the course is my idea with regards to this. Stay the course. You know, perhaps warning labels. I don't know. Look, when you're signing in, be careful. Social media is damaging to your health. I don't know. Anyway, Born to Iron Man is joining us. Good morning, mates. Good morning, BTI. How are you doing? You've joined us just in time to go to today's unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Quite often, Dan and I here find ourselves debating subjects with which we are armed with enough knowledge to do it with some degree of accuracy, right? We've spoken about social media, about privacy, about all sorts of concerns in which Dan and I have skin in the game. We are in some way invested. Today is not one of those days, friends. Today is a Friday.
I don't know how many times we have discussed about having children.
Yeah, I know.
We both have.
We talk about marriage and children. Yeah, this is one of those days. It's like a marriage and children day where Dan and I have no idea what the hell we're talking about. Why? Because today we're talking about the world of fashion, la moda. And today's unpopular opinion is fashion is pointless. La moda no sirve para nada. Vero here, actually, just while we're talking about social media, let's give Vero the last point on that. I'm using social media less each day, and I'm more than 40. I only post what I consider interesting. I don't want to burn my only neuron. Yeah, same. I mean, I don't post anything other than show-related stuff to communicate with you guys, but I don't consume anything now. Actually, I can't say that because I use YouTube. But only to watch things that are reputable or interesting to me. Anyway, so let's get into it. Fashion is pointless. How do you think they voted on Instagram today, Dan?
I think they voted true.
You think they voted true that fashion is pointless? That would be interesting, right, for a platform like Instagram that, you know, look at most of the... I may be wrong about this, but my impression is that most of the influencers on Instagram have some kind of link to fashion or clothing. At least we once had one influencer on the show, Dan, as a guest, and she was a fashion influencer, the amazing Coco Lavanda. They did vote true, Dan. Do you think they voted true by a little or by a lot?
I think by a lot. But because I think this is the kind of audience the Pro has,
Yeah, the ProBoh Show has.
not the majority of the world.
You know, I am a little poison pill in Instagram's algorithm. I'm a little poison pill ruining social media, the platform. You're right, Dan. 77% of people voted true today. But is it pointless? Are you a true or a false, Dan?
I think it's true.
Yeah, it's pointless. Why do you think the people who voted false might have voted false? What do you think their rationale is?
Because I think they are mixing fashion with trends.
I think a lot of people mix fashion with self-expression. I think people believe they are expressing themselves. It's a way to express yourself. I express myself through my clothing, right? I mean, it pretends to be self-expression, but usually it expresses the system you're trying to escape from. Let me explain what I mean by that. Like, people say fashion is about individuality, right? But most fashion is just obedience, really, but just obedience to a counterculture or a particular brand or a particular lifestyle. You're not saying this is who I am. You're saying I understand the current social code well enough not to be punished by it, you know? So I'll come in occasionally in a shirt and tie, you know, I'll come in and it says professional, right? That's what I'm saying. Like athletic clothing, I guess, says I'm busy, I'm sporty. Vintage clothing says I'm interesting but non-threatening. Like minimalist black says I'm tasteful. A little black dress. Designer labels say I can afford the password. Even the rebellion gets standardized, right? The moment enough people dress against the system, do you know what the system does? It puts it on a mannequin and charges €300 for it. So fashion is a great lie. It doesn't really liberate personality. What it does is it's just another form of conformity, isn't it? I conform to this counterculture or this cultural block. I mean, don't get me wrong, clothing matters, warmth matters, comfort matters, occasion matters. But fashion is like a subscription service you pay to whatever culture in which you subscribe. If you're maybe like me, you're into rock music and heavy metal, band t-shirts, Doc Martens shoes. What you're doing is it's just more conformity. It's not individualism. It's just another expression of conformity. Does that make sense, Dan?
Yes.
So let's get into it. I feel like I've already done a better job at the pro argument than the pro arguments, but the pros did win today, so let's get into it. 77% of people maybe think like this. Clothes exist to provide warmth, protection, and comfort. Everything beyond that is largely optional. But look, human beings, you know, I'm going to try my best to rebut these arguments. Human beings rarely stop at pure function with anything. I mean, your home doesn't need wallpaper on it. Your car doesn't necessarily need a sunroof or subwoofer speakers. But aesthetics is part of the human experience, so we tend to decorate, right? It's very human. Trends are arbitrary. What's considered fashionable changes constantly, often without any improvement in function or quality. But you can say the same about art and music, can't you? Architecture, they all evolve over time. Doesn't make them any less important. It encourages unnecessary consumption. Fast fashion promotes buying clothes people don't need, contributing to waste and environmental damage. And I think that is a great argument, but an argument against consumerism, not fashion itself. You know, fashion can also be, buying vintage clothing from secondhand stores, or repairing, reusing, investing in clothing that's timeless, like a shirt and a blazer. It creates social pressure. People often feel judged for what they wear, leading to unnecessary spending and anxiety. But let's be honest, social pressure exists in many areas of life. Fashion isn't uniquely responsible for it. I feel like I'm doing a good job of arguing against my own thoughts here. Fashion can encourage people to value image more than character, ability, or ideas. I mean, look, although I do say it's a subscription service to whatever culture or counterculture you subscribe to, there is identity linked to that. I mean, it is a manner in which we communicate. It's what first impressions are about. Part of a first impression you make on anyone is what you're wearing, isn't it? Most trends disappear. If a style is considered ridiculous a few years later, it raises a question whether it ever had any real value. That's an interesting point, right? If a style is considered ridiculous a few years later, it raises a question of whether it really had any value. I mean, you've probably seen photos of people in the 70s dressed like in that typical 70s flares, and you laugh, ha 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 ha. But I feel like we're acting here like temporary enjoyment doesn't matter. Temporary enjoyment doesn't make something pointless. You know, entertainment, holidays, art, all those can change and look dated. It doesn't mean the enjoyment you derive from those things is lessened. Anyway, let's get into the cons now, where Dan firmly sits, and I think I do too. Fashion serves... Oh no, the con saying fashion serves a purpose. I think Dan and I are both trues today. Fashion is a form of self-expression. Clothing allows people to communicate personality, values, creativity, and identity without saying a word. Oh my God, if only there were other ways to communicate identity. You know, like speaking. Ways that didn't involve spending a couple of €100 on wardrobe items, right? And contributing to massive waste and ecological crises in many rivers and water sources in India, where they simply just throw clothes that are, you know, not going to be sold into a river. You know, I read that there's a British brand, I'm not going to defame them on the radio, but there's a British brand that, you know, if they don't sell a season's clothes, instead of selling them at a discounted price, do you know what they do? They burn them. Because they need to protect the branding. So they don't want to see cheap clothes with their logo on it. That is predatorial. It's disgusting. Anyway, it communicates useful information. Clothing signals context, profession, culture, and sometimes even mood, helping people navigate social situations. Yeah, uniforms and dress codes can achieve this without constant fashion trends, you know. You see a police officer in a uniform, you know they're a police officer. Done. Right? It's not a thing to do with fashion. The uniform hasn't changed in years. Fashion is an art form. Designers use clothing as a creative medium, combining aesthetics, craftsmanship, and innovation. Look, most people don't participate in high fashion. They consume commercial trends, right? They'll be on a store, whether it be Shine or whatever. I don't know what clothing stores there are out there, I'm going to be honest with you. And they're just scrolling as if they're on Instagram until something catches their eye, you know? That's how most people interact with fashion and fast fashion. It builds confidence. Wearing clothes you like can improve self-esteem and influence how you carry yourself. Can we just put a little... Can we dog ear that page, please? Confidence based on appearance is fragile at best, isn't it? If it depends... It's almost like your confidence depends on external validation. I'll tell you what confidence is. It's going to the supermarket in your pajamas and slippers. That's confidence. It's not going in a Versace suit. Confidence is not caring what you look like or what people may judge you as or for. That's confidence. If your confidence is derived simply by what you wear, I would say it's not real confidence at all. Fashion reflects culture and history. Styles capture the values, technology, and identity of different societies and time periods. Yeah, I would say, cultural significance doesn't necessarily make fashion personally important, does it? I mean, there are a whole slew of things that were important in the past that are not now. And the final point here in the con column, humans naturally decorate themselves. Across history and cultures, people have adorned themselves with jewelry, tattoos, hairstyles, and clothing. All right, there we go. There are your pros and cons. Rob, it's actually painful listening to you argue against your so obvious opinion. All right, friends, I'm going to post a poll in the chat. Thank you, Bridge. I'm glad you could notice. I'm going to post a poll in the chat and you will tell me. Fashion is pointless. La moda no sirve para nada. True or false? I'll give you 4 minutes to vote and we'll come back and read your comments. See you soon. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, PROBOH. Okay, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. It's now 9 a.m. Central European Time, and you're joining me and Dan live on this, the 26th of June, 9 a.m. How you doing in there, Dan? Nice, a cooler morning this morning out there, right?
Yes.
Jeezy Louise. Yeah, temperatures getting up to 32 degrees, so we'll have a little reprieve from the really oppressive heat that we've been experiencing, and a good night's sleep tonight, Dan, with only 19 degrees centigrade. We're going to enjoy the weekend.
I passed out the second I get into the bed.
Yeah, really? Yeah,
Yes.
Me too last night. Me too. I did put on a video to watch, but I didn't even watch 2 minutes of it. Anyway, should we get into it? What did we look at in the first part of the show? We saw... I was sent an article from written by, or at least published by The Guardian, by a listener, in some way to say, this social media ban, it doesn't really work. 4 out of 5 kids under 16 in Australia using social media despite the ban in Australia. Number one, I think, wow, they've managed to take 20% of kids off. Congratulations, that's amazing. Number one, right? I don't think 20%. If you ordered pizza for you and a group of people, Dan, and you got to eat 20% of that pizza, you'd feel pretty damn satisfied. 20% is not nothing. Why are you laughing at me, Dan?
I don't know. Would you like to get only the 20% of your salario?
Yeah, but I'm not expected to share my salary. The salary comes just to me. You're expected to share a pizza. That's why it's a better analogy. Nice try, Daniel. Nice try. But, we've got a good comment here from Mike. Mike actually nails what we were saying. This ban is probably more about the next generation. In the future, people always say, these guys were crazy letting kids use social media. Yeah. I nearly swore there. Abso-flipping-lutely. Future generations will say that. My God, these guys were nuts. Exposing kids to that kind of unregulated nonsense. They must have been nuts. Yeah, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly, Mike. But there you go. I mean, even though I may not necessarily agree that it's a bad result, that is a result of the ban in Australia. 4 of 5 kids under 16 are still using social media. But, it's still relatively new out there. I think the ban came out there this year, right? Or late on last year, at least. And, the weak age verification checks, I'm sure will evolve. I don't know. And I know a lot of you out there, obviously, as evidenced by being sent that article in the first place, a lot of you believe that there shouldn't be a ban at all. I don't understand it. Don't understand why you don't think that, or why you think that, unless you are a 16 year old or under, in which case you shouldn't be listening to this show. You should be at school right now. Anyway, should we, actually, yeah, they're all on holiday now. Hi, kids. I have to be careful, don't I? I have to watch my language. Freedom of speech doesn't exist, Dan. I can't swear today because the kiddies are listening.
Do you really believe that 16-year-old kids are gonna be woke at 9?
No way. When they're off of school, no way. They're not even awake for Fitz's show. By the way, do stay tuned after this. You've got no excuses coming up. They'll wake up just in time for Richard Vaughan. Hey kids, welcome. All right, should we get back to today's unpopular opinion about fashion, a subject of which Dan and I know very little. The poll is live. We're talking about the utility of fashion. Funny how we don't have many people in the chat defending fashion. Because I think what I did was maybe the one defense, strip it apart too early in the show. People say fashion is about self-expression, and I don't think it is. I think it's a subscription service to a culture or counterculture of which you're interested in. And then, of course, there is fashion that is, I think when men think fashion, that's what we think, right? Dan, would you agree? When we think fashion, we think Armani suit, successful businessman, leather jacket, rock and roller. I think we think of it in very primitive terms. And I think perhaps for more fashion conscious people, it's different. It's about the way you feel, the way the clothing makes you feel. I'm going to try and do a better job because Bridge did say, Rob, it is actually painful listening to you argue against your so obvious opinion. So let me try and do a better job. I think people who are into fashion, people who love fashion, love the fashion industry, do see it, maybe perhaps not even as self-expression, but as more akin to cosmetic surgery. I don't care what people see. It's for me. It's about the way I feel about myself. You still have 1 minute to vote, by the way. It's the way it makes me feel. And who are we to poo-poo that idea? If something makes you feel beautiful, you should embrace that thing. Regardless of what Dan and I may be thinking or saying. Right? I mean, look, playing video games makes me feel pretty damn good. Being a Jedi running around and slashing things. Dude, that game is really good, Dan. I'll tell you about it later. And a lot of you probably think that's pointless. Oh my God, how much money do you spend on that video game? €5 on sale. But and you'd be right to make that criticism, but I'd also be right saying, well, look, it makes me feel good about me. I mean, I imagine video games isn't a very good example, but it's what I've got in my personal life, that a lot of people may say, I don't agree with it. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. Well, yeah, but it makes me feel good. So who are you to tell me that it's pointless, right? Who are you to tell me that it's pointless? You don't live inside my body, inside my mind, inside of the context of my life. Who are you to tell me that it's pointless? And a lot of people buy nice clothes, and wear them to make themselves feel good rather than to give off a message, rather than as a form of communication or to subscribe to a culture or counterculture. Many people do it for that motive. So there you go. That's my reformatted defense. I didn't obviously do a very good job of it in the first part of the show. So there you go. Anyway, let's see. Let's get back to it. Mike here. Oh, I love this Mike. Can we get Mike and Nivelazo, by the way? Since Mike is, Mike is killing it. Dropping some real information here. The fashion industry is responsible for 10% of carbon emissions. I think it's around 8 to 10%, yeah. Around 2 billion tons of CO2 every year. Fast fashion is pointless and harmful to the environment. Did you know that, Dan? 8 to 10% of CO2 emissions. It's also, and we criticize AI for being so thirsty, such a thirsty industry, right? For cooling the CPUs. Oh my God, uses so much water. Fashion is an extremely thirsty industry. To produce a single cotton shirt, it requires about 2,700 liters of water. The industry accounts for 20% of global industrial water waste, often dumping toxic dyes and heavy metals directly into local water supplies in manufacturing countries. That's from the Global Environment Network. Microplastics. Roughly 60% of clothing materials contain plastic. Washing synthetic fabrics like polyester releases 500,000 tons of microfibers into the ocean annually, equivalent of 50 billion plastic bottles. So if you're wondering, why your fish have microplastics in it. Hello, are you enjoying that sweater? That band t-shirt of a band you've never listened to that you bought at Primark? You enjoying that? Great. Awesome. Good for you. And that's not that's not the end. That's not even the end. Waste and oversupply. The equivalent of one garbage truck of textiles is dumped in a landfill or burned every single second. A garbage truck full of textiles is dumped in a landfill or burned every single second. About 85% of all textiles go to the dump each year. 85% of all textiles go to the dump each year. Where synthetic fabrics can take up to 200 years to decompose. How's that Nirvana t-shirt suiting you out? That Nirvana t-shirt you bought at Primark, you never listened to Nirvana a day in your life. There was a kid in the studio yesterday, Dan.
You don't know if he listens to it or not.
That kid in the studio yesterday hadn't listened to a single Iron Maiden album in his entire life. Are you telling me that kid yesterday had listened to Iron Maiden?
Maybe.
Hello, welcome. Yes, he was too. No, kids like me listened to Iron Maiden when they were young. Not that kid. That kid's probably going to be prime minister one day, or president. Anyway, let's continue.
Presidents are not allowed to listen to Iron Maiden, right?
They should. It should be mandated. Dumping in the global south, many unsold and discarded garments are shipped to developing countries such as Ghana, overwhelming local landfills and polluting beaches and creating localized environmental crises. And then finally we'll leave off with a human toll. For example, unsafe working conditions. To maintain incredibly cheap retail prices, brands often utilize supply chains in developing nations where environmental regulations are lax and labor rights are compromised. The industry employs millions of garment workers, the majority of whom are women. Many are subjected to substandard pay, unsafe environments, and forced overtime. The deadliest tragedy in this sector, the Rana Plaza collapse, killed over 1,000 textile workers. That's the Geneva Environment Network again. And health hazards. Agricultural workers and factory workers face severe risks from exposure to toxic chemicals, pesticides, carcinogens used in fabric treatment, dyeing, and tanning. How is that Ramones t-shirt fitting you that you bought in Primark and you've never listened to the Ramones? Hey ho, let's go. All right. Sorry. Yeah, I know.
I like how there are always the same three bands.
Yeah. Well, those are always.
Nirvana, Ramones, and...
Yes. Why? I don't know. But the coolest logos, probably. I think that's where it is. And Metallica would be there, but they're very litigious. So I'm sure Primark are afraid. All right, so there you go. Though we've gone over some pros and cons. Let me quickly take a look at what some of our friends on Instagram said. Oscar says, I understand the argument, but people have always used clothing to express identity. That's hard to call pointless. I think you're falling into the trap, Oscar, like I did in the first part of the show, of thinking that's the only thing that fashion is about. It is one of the things that fashion is about. Again, subscribing to a particular culture or counterculture. But a lot of people are into fashion because it makes them feel good, right? Caitlin Rowland says, honestly, I wish I cared less about fashion. That's beautifully honest. Can we get Caitlin ProBoh approved, please?
ProBoh approved.
She says, honestly, I wish I cared less about fashion. It would save me a lot of money. Yeah. Yeah, probably. That's the worst thing about fast fashion, right? I don't even think in the long run fast fashion is cheaper, Dan. You know, I'm wearing right now a decent pair of low top, what are they called? Converse sneakers. And I've had these sneakers for about 10 years. They are now my festival shoes. They are, I will admit, falling apart. But I'm still wearing them. 10 years ago I bought them. And that's just because I don't care, you know, what kind of message you might derive from how I dress. And here's the thing, when I do feel down or low or ugly, I will put on a button-down shirt and a jacket to pick me up, to make me feel better about myself. So I'm not kind of completely anti-fashion. I kind of understand the impulse of dressing to make yourself feel better. I understand that impulse, Caitlin. Alan Kovac, even if you ignore fashion, you're still making choices about how you present yourself. True story. Mireille, I don't know how to pronounce your name. Mireille, Mireille, my king. It says fashion isn't essential, but it's a form of creativity for a lot of people. Calling it pointless feels too harsh. Yeah, I mean, it's a very subjective thing, isn't it? But what we can't deny is the immense environmental damage that the fashion, or particularly the fast fashion industry, engage in. Let's see. Mr. Cruthando. Imagine a child wants to enter a pub and the security guard just asks them the age, no ID needed, and go in. This is how the restrictions work online. For now, Mr. Cruthando, for now. But it won't forever. And plus, think of if you're a parent and you're trying to control your children's access to social media, you don't have to be the bad guy. Look, sweetheart, it's the law. You have an amazing advocate, don't you? It's the law, sweetheart. I'm very sorry. Anyway, again, look at me being pulled back into an argument about goddamn social media ban. I like to turn on Paris Fashion Week just to laugh. No way I've been trying to see Iron Maiden's last tour in Kentucky. My perspective on fashion is buying whatever makes me look like I'm more homeless than the homeless. I mean, of course, you can buy pre-distressed clothing, can't you? This is, by the way, a new contributor, JTWSSTM. Dude, I'm going to call you JT. Welcome, JT, to the chat. Yeah, that is when fashion gets pointless for me, Dan. When you go into a clothing store to buy a pair of jeans, I want to buy a new pair of jeans. Okay, let's buy these ones. They're distressed. They have holes in them, pre-cut. Dude, just buy a decent pair of jeans and wear them for 5 years. I just don't understand. And this is why I come back to my original my true leaning side of this, that fashion is pointless, isn't it? Oh, we moved your needle at all today? I imagine not, right, Dan?
No, you are winning my favor.
Yeah, I think I am terminally on the side of true. But look, there is a massive subjective nature to this, because I imagine everyone who voted true is in no way a fashionista, right? And just like JT said right there, if you do happen to rub up against like something on TV about Fashion Week, or you happen to see a video about some ludicrous display on a catwalk, usually you're deriving humor from it rather than titillation, right? Like, oh my god, look at what they're wearing at Paris Fashion Week. Oh my god, is that a trash bag? So yeah, I get it, because that's where I'm at too. So I understand the impulse to say true to this one. And again, I think most fashion is not about individuality or individualism. I think it's about it's a subscription service to a culture or a counterculture. I am a freewheeling liberal. I'm going to buy hemp trousers and woolen knitted cardigans. I'm a rock and roller. I'm going to buy a leather jacket, blue jeans, black t-shirt. I'm a businessman. I'm going to buy a suit, tie, shirt. It's a subscription service to culture, quite often. But I have to represent my friends out there who see fashion as something else. I like to curate my wardrobe because when I dress well, when I walk outside the house, it makes me feel good and better about myself. Thus the subjective nature of this topic and this show. But my friends, when I said to you, my thought leaders in the audience, fashion is pointless, you guys said 80% true. And there you have it, friends. How do I close today? Just on that. Look, number one, I always, as always, appreciate how kind and considerate and understanding you are with each other. This week we've tackled some really difficult issues, from general elections to freedom of speech. And you've remained polite and cordial and expressing your opinion in a way that makes me and yourselves, should make yourselves proud. So today we had a bit of a silly one. All these things that we've been expressing, guys, you know what those are? They're opinions. And as Grandpa Bo would say, opinions, they're like buttholes. Everyone has one. They all stink, including mine. Let's move on to today's 100 Humans. Oh my God. It was a long walk to work today across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys, and on that walk I encountered 100 humans and I asked them all a question. Today's question was, name an ugly item of clothing. Nombra una prenda de ropa fea. I asked them that question, they gave me their answers. I'm in possession of the top 7 answers. Your job in the audience is to identify those top 7 answers. JT, new to the show. Is it over? It's not over yet. We've still got another 6 minutes. Time enough to identify 7 items of ugly clothing. What do you think, Dan?
Please let me 1 minute to search a photo of it because I don't know the name.
Okay. Is it okay? I'm not gonna prompt you. You search. I will thank.
I got it.
I've got it. Show me.
Birkenstock. I don't know how to say it.
Sandals. Birkenstock sandals. I know you hate it when I do this, but because it's you, I think you'll forgive me. I'm gonna give it to you. But Dan, think about what the reputation we guiris have in Spain. Not just sandals, something else with them.
With socks.
Socks and sandals. Calcetines con sandalias. It's there. Well done, Dan. 3rd most popular answer. You're on fire, dude. Big thank you to Carlos, Feno Kitty, Ingrid, Juana Reo, Emily, Elena, Anna Kasan, Pedro, Ivan Samroff. A lot of new names in here today. Tripsky, MP Contel, Ivan GP. Well, a lot of you. Sorry, we're running out of time, so I have to move on. Trikini. What's a trikini?
I don't know it, but I think the one that Borat wears.
Okay.
I don't know it.
I think we would call that a mankini. Okay, is it there? No, it's not. Wah, wah, wah. Friends, an ugly clothing? Cups. Tassas, cups. I'm not sure I know what that means. Oh, caps. Cap.
It was the Borat's one.
Oh, what is it? Let me see. Bueno, okay. It is kind of weird. I wouldn't say that's ugly, though. I don't know whether that has more to do with the model or the clothing itself, but whatever. A jacket, says Vero. Cap, says Artemisa. A wig. Is wig clothing? I suppose it is, really, isn't it? Like a hat. A wig. He simply said sock, says Bridge. Thank you, Vero Artemisa. Mr. Cruzando. All great answers, but none of them there. Wah, wah, wah. Mike says shoulder pads. Oh, guys are on fire. Shoulder pads is not there. Let me go through some answers on Instagram. Immediately here, I see Carlos with a joke answer, but is it there? He says a Christmas sweater. Jersey navideño. Is it there? Yes, it is. Well done. Dan, I'm going to give you a clue. You and the audience, I'll try and prompt you. There is one more footwear item there. Famously ugly. A famously ugly footwear item. Can you name it? Think about it. They've become very popular.
Un zanco.
Thanko? I don't know what a thanko is.
The Netherlands one.
A clog. No. It's not a clog. Anyway, let's continue. What else do we have? Hawaiian shirt. Great answer from Fenno Kitty. A tie, says Ingrid. A tie. Great answer. Corbata. Pedro and Ivan also said a tie. The corporate noose. Christmas sweater, said Fenno Kitty as well. Well done. Male thongs, says Juan Arejo. I can't think of anything that would put anyone off their dinner more than seeing me in a thong. Turtleneck, says Emily. Extremely tight shirts, says Elena. Or mesh tops or skinny jeans. All great answers. Sweatpants is there, Anaka-san. Raj here says, well, we would call it a fanny pack. He says riñonera, but we would call it a fanny pack. Is a fanny pack or a bum bag in the UK, fanny pack in the US, is it there? Yes, it is. Okay, guys, we have to go through the list. Slippers, I see. Crocs, says JT. Is Crocs there? Yes, it is, sir. Well done. That was the number one answer. Oh. All right, we have to go through the list. We've got 30 seconds. All right, in position number, we had a bucket hat. Sombrero de pescador, you call them over here, I think. Bucket hat, an ugly item of clothing. In position number 6. Calentadores, leg warmers. Yeah, okay, good. That was 9 of 100 humans. In position number 5. Bow tie. A bow tie, un pajarita.
Pajarita.
Yeah, I have to be careful because it could mean something else. In position number 4, we had fanny pack or bum bag in the UK, riñonera. In position number 3, socks with sandals. In position number 2, a Christmas sweater. And finally, in position number 1, Crocs. Guys, that's all we've got time for. See you in the afternoon. See you next time.